If you had to leave right now, could you survive for 72 hours? Your bug out bag is your lifeline if it's packed right. And if it's not, well, you'll find out the hard way.
Simple, tactical, built for real world emergencies. Let's get you condition ready. Hey everyone, I'm Philip, and today we're walking through the Prepare system. 7 categories that cover everything your bug out bag needs. And heads up, the Pluck Norris challenge is live. Somewhere in this video, our sneaky rubber chicken is hiding. Find him, comment the timestamp, and you might get featured in the next episode. Let's break down what Prepare stands for. The Prepare acronym stands for P, protection; R, resources, is water and food; E, environment, shelter and clothing; P, personal aid, first aid; A, awareness and security; R, repair and tools; E, extras, documents, cash, items for comfort, things like that. Let's start with protection, because if you're not safe, nothing else matters. P, as I said, for protection, this covers both physical protection and staying dry, warm, and shielded. This includes rain ponchos or jackets, which I have a jacket and a poncho, because a poncho can also double for shelter. Gloves. You got extra clothes, eyewear, basic self-defense tools. Basic. I always carry when I'm out in the woods, anything like that. I've got my trusty old K-bar, but also have an everyday carry, which that's covered later. R, for resources. We got water, we got food. You can last weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. You need a water bottle. Real simple, real sweet. If you don't get one of these, just get a plastic Coke bottle or something like that, something to carry water in. You'll need a metal container to boil water. This is a good cheap pot you can use to cook, you can use to boil water, whatever for. What's next is your freeze-dried food. You don't have to have freeze-dried food. You can use, protein bars or meal bars, meal replacement bars, things like that, things that are higher in calories, because calories are what's going to matter in a bug out situation when you're on the move. Also, you want a water filter. I've got 2 different setups for water filters. I've got a bag system where you can squeeze through your filter. This type of filter, I want to say, filters something around 3,000 gallons of water or something like that. And your trusty old life straw. You always want a way to filter water. Plus, on top of that, I've got a water bladder, also, including with my water bottle. And I've got purification tablets in case I really need them. Next on the list is environment. That's your shelter, that's your clothing. Clothing also goes right along with protection, because you got to have your clothes to protect you, all that good stuff. What I've got just a space blanket, not a big deal. Honestly, they're flimsy. I've also got a towel that I forgot to put in my bag. It's a body length towel that you can also use as a blanket. But I've also got a heavy duty survival blanket. I can use this to cover up. It reflects heat. It's waterproof. I can also make a shelter out of this. Something you want to think about with like your ponchos and things like that. It depends on the kind of shelter you want to build. You need to have more than one way to do things. Other items you want to carry, right now it's hot, and I'll get into this in a little bit, is you may want a sleeping bag. You may want a more permanent shelter, a small 2-man tent or a single-man tent, thermal underwear, things like that to keep you warmer. Not this time of year where I live at in Kansas, it's pretty warm. Now, it doesn't mean hypothermia and stuff like that can't kick in. It's been raining a lot. You want a way to stay dry, which in turn, which I've already talked about, is a poncho or a rain suit or a jacket. You also want a good moisture wicking base, like your moisture wicking shirts, things like that. Extra socks, gloves, and a beanie if you have to have it, a hat. Next up is first aid. I don't know that I would sincerely trust the little camping first aid kits you get from Walmart. However, there are some places online that sell some really good first aid kits. IFACs, and the thing is a lot of these companies will now take like HSAs, things like that. So you're not paying right out of pocket. You know, if you have a decent HSA built up, you can use your HSA card, but check with that store. Obviously, you want to know how to use the first aid kit. If you don't know, by all means, go get training that you need. That's the most important thing, is knowing how to use this gear. One of the most important items that you can have falls in the awareness and security area. Security isn't about paranoia. It's about staying alert and staying safe. Also, you can count these as tools as well. You have your everyday carry pocket knife. I always have a pocket knife with me. Like I already alluded to, I've got my K-bar. Always carry it when I'm in the woods. The other thing I have, of course, is a firearm. I'm that way. I love firearms. I don't go crazy with them, but they're amazing tools to have in case you need to use them. Definitely, you want to have your concealed carry. Obviously, check your local and state laws before you conceal carry. Some states, like the state I live in, is a constitutional carry state. Other states require you to have a license to carry, whether it be concealed or not concealed, or open carry. So definitely want to make sure you follow the law, and also get training. Spend some time behind the trigger on a firearm, whether it's a rifle, whether it's a pistol. Always spend time in the firearm. The biggest thing I can tell you that's involved with awareness and security is a situational awareness mindset, especially in a bug out situation where, regardless of the scenario that you're in, keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people, pay attention to the environment. Like I said, it depends on the situation, whether it's storming, whether there's a wildfire, whether there's a riot. The world's going crazy right now, so we want to pay attention to what's going on in the world, whether you're in the city, whether you're in the country. Tools solve problems, so let's talk repair. Every bag needs gear that fixes, cuts, or helps you build on the go. Things like multi-tools, everyday carry knives, a fire starter, paracord, duct tape, a headlamp with batteries, a whistle just in case you get lost or separated from your group, and a map and compass. I have all these. There's my compass, headlamp. I've got a small hatchet, really lightweight, paracord for lashing, for dragging stuff. If it comes down to it, you can use it as a tourniquet. Fire starting gear, always be redundant. I have a lighter, sure, simple, easy, works, but I also have a ferro rod. I actually have several. You want to be redundant in everything that you have, because if one fails, what are you going to do? Sure, it may add a little bit more weight, but most of the time it's negligible. Know how to use your gear. And finally, the extras. The things most people forget. Things like your ID, maybe a USB drive with important documents on it, a printed ID, insurance copies, a bandana, a notebook with a pen, comfort items, a deck of cards, a kid's toy, which we'll get into that later. Maybe even photos of your family in case you guys do get separated, because you may not always have your phone depending on the circumstance. Right, what I have for extras, right? I've got, comfort. You got baby wipes, hand warmers. I've got a small little collapsible fishing pole. Good little poles too, we've used the mess out of them. And a little small tackle box. That way, if you run out of food, if you're on the go and you don't make it to where you're trying to get in 3 days, which is what your bug out bag is set up to do, it's like a 72-hour kit, you've got tools to use to maybe try to feed yourself or your family. Always have something. This is my kit. Sure, I might be missing a few things, but I've got that I need to finish out. But this will help me survive, help my family survive. We've got a great bag set up. Now, let's not let it get stale. You need to update your bag at least every 6 months. You have kids that are growing, weather changes, from summer to winter. Your food might get bad in there, so you need to rotate your food in and out. Always keep it up to date. Update your documents. And like I said, you want to test your gear. Know how to use what's in your bag before you have to use it. That's the most important thing. You know, practice with your tools. Cook your food. Try your food. Sure, you may have to buy more, but you at least know what you're getting into, what you have, if it'll sustain you. Sure, I mean, I've got these little compact emergency provisions as well, but you want to test it out. You want to try it. Make sure that you're going to like it. Make sure your kids are going to like it. I mean, personally, I can eat anything, even if I don't like it, if I know that I'm going to need it. You can force yourself to do that. Good luck trying to get kids to do that. So get things that they will like, and we'll get into that in a further episode into a kid's bag. There it is, folks, the Prepare system in action. 7 categories, 1 life-saving bag, no fluff, no gimmicks. If this helped you out, give us a like and subscribe for more real-world preparedness. The world's going crazy right now. Be ready. Oh yeah, did you find Pluck in the video? If so, remember, comment down below and you'll be put on the leaderboard next week. Keep an eye out for the next video as we're going to be building a child's bug out bag. With that being said, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.